Hi guys, and welcome back to my channel, or if you're new here, welcome. My name is Heather, and on this channel we like to walk a very fine line between a shopping addicted makeup monster and a responsible adult with a makeup hobby. Now, I really enjoy eyeshadow, singles, duochromes, multichromes, blush, highlight, lip gloss, basically everything except pressed glitter, and today we are going to be decluttering through my blue and green palettes. So if that sounds like something you're interested in, stick with me, we're getting into it right now. So I've got lots of blue and green things here. Obviously, I have more eyeshadow palettes than I would ever need, but that's how I like it, and this is one of the hobbies that I have, so I spend my money accordingly. This Nicka K Makeup Ocean Eyes palette, yeah, I think I'm just gonna let it go. I feel like somebody else could use it more than I would, and I know I have other like mini blue palettes in my ColourPop drawer basically, so I can let this one go. Hooray! This Makeup by Yolando 5-pan, what a beautiful 5-pan, and this one is a multi-chrome. Like, I don't know, can you guys grasp? Like, there you can kind of see that it goes like green, blue, purple. This one is freaking stunning. Let me see here. And of course my hands are wet from multiple rounds of wet washcloth kind of things, but that's what that one looks like. Very pretty, definitely keeping. I have this Tarte palette. I picked up the holiday set, and I do really like this one. I don't know why I put it in the blue, because it's definitely more neutrals. I guess it has like a little bit of greens and a little bit of blues in it, which is what I always think about using when I open this palette, so I'll leave it in this group, and I'm definitely going to keep it because I really like the formula that they put into that one. Beauty Bay Book of Magic, absolutely will keep. This is a gorgeous color story. These colors are so intense. I just love it. So definitely will keep that one. All right, this is the Laguna palette, which my aunt also got one of these, and hers like broke, and I'm so sad on her behalf because this is a really stunning palette. I've been looking for it online, so if you guys find it, leave me a comment so I can snatch it up for her. But this one, yeah, definitely a winner. We'll keep that one. And then I have the Clarity Cosmetics Evil Mermaid palette. I also really like this. I think the mattes in this one are a little bit dry, and as is this shimmer, but these other three shimmers I think are better, and the packaging on this is like 10 out of 10, so I'll keep that one. This Frosted Flakes palette, I don't know, actually. This shade kind of reminds me of the new Clarity Aloha palette. Or at least it's new as of right now when I'm filming. That's like a really, really pretty navy. I'm so sorry you have to see my unmade up face in this mirror. Yeah, but I know I also have the Icy palette, and I have this Thunder palette. So let's look through these. Oh, that's what that is. Okay, let's look through these and see if they have similar. See, this has like a gray metallic and then this kind of like navy blue, but it's not as deep as that one. But I love the formula in this, so absolutely we'll keep that one. And then this Icy palette, do you have anything that's that dark? Not really. Yeah, see, neither of those is really getting as deep as this one is. So I guess I'll be keeping that Kellogg's Goofball palette. I think this is such a ridiculous theme, but whatever. The blue sold me. All right, this is the Morphe 9C Matte Essentials, and I got this because I thought it would be like a nice complement to some of my other cool tone palettes, and I hate the formula. It's abysmal. It's hard to use. It's hard to blend out. It's patchy. It barely shows up. It's a 0 for me. This is the AO Coralie. This is half of her second palette set that she did with Beauty Bay. The other half is in my pink palette, so you'll see that then. But I really like this color story. This like neon green looks so pretty and popping with that shade there, so we'll keep this one for sure. The Sapphires palette. See, this is a beautiful, oh, here's one. Yeah, see, this one is like not holding up as well. So this Sapphires palette, I like these Profusion palettes, but I think I can go ahead and let this one go because I have so many other like blue palettes. Now that I've officially ranked all of my Profusion ones, I think I can let that one go. Smoke and Mirrors. Ooh, maybe you have a really deep navy. No. Some matte navies for sure. So these were originally, the original color stories for these palettes from Pure Fusion were supposed to be dupes of the Pat McGrath, like the motherships that she did. Now this one is completely off the riff, and I think this is, they put this one out and the purple one out just to be like, see, we're not just copying you, because they definitely were. But this is a very pretty palette, and I like the formula of these palettes, so I've slowly been trying to wrangle those all up. The Sweet Shop Bubblegum palette will keep. I love these palettes. This is another really pretty navy blue, but again, is brighter than what I'm looking for in that Kellogg's palette. So, but this is a really pretty color. Like the colors that they did choose for this one are nice, and I love this entire collection, so definitely gonna hang on to that. Ace Beauté Oceanic palette looks like this is the new formulation. You can tell by the thickness of the palette, which I appreciate that they did something that easy so that people wouldn't be selling like fakes and stuff, but I digress. I really like this palette. These two shades are definitely like glam light type formula, so if you like that type of buttery like putty formula, I think you'll like those two shades in the new version. This is the Hasina 2 from Blush Tribe, which is not even a brand anymore, but it looks like this, and I love the packaging of this. Like, the packaging really sends me. And the amazing thing is that these colors are still like in such good condition, because I think I've only used this like once or twice. But like those metallics look beautiful. Do you guys notice I only ever swatch metallics? I know, it's really annoying. All right, keeping Genesis. Ooh, maybe you have a beautiful navy shade. Let's see. No, this is the Midas and I think Drench. Yeah, Midas and Drench Cosmetics palette that they did together, just kind of celebrating like the beauty that is Black culture, which I think is pretty cool. I do really like the blues in this particular palette. The sort of neutral shades I'm kind of so-so about. This pink looks really nice, and then of course it has a great black matte shade in here as well. So I love the packaging. I like the cause that they were trying to kind of represent, so I'll be keeping that. This is the Love Lux Beauty Pretty Powerful palette. Pretty Powerful palette. And this palette was originally $88, which I think is a bit of an insane price for this palette. But the palette itself I think is really nice. I got it for a little over half off on Black Friday about 2 years ago. And what I think is special about this palette and why they charge so much is that these metallic shades all have these like flaky multi-chrome kind of flakes put into them, which I think is a really cool concept, but it doesn't translate onto the lid in the volume that you see it in the pan. So it's a cool concept. It looks pretty in the pan, but it doesn't really show up on the eyes like that. So that's the only miss part. The mattes in here are super buttery and soft though, and I do really like this palette. I think if you can get it for like 35 bucks, you'll be happy. Paying 80, I would not. All right, this is Whale Song from Menagerie, and these shades actually are magnetic, which is pretty cool. I would swatch these normally, but they will stain my hands for months, so I'm gonna go ahead and skip that part, although this is probably gonna stain too, but I am gonna keep that. I do like Menagerie's formula. This is the Ocean Breeze palette, and I think if I remember correctly, I picked this up on Black Friday last year. Ooh, here's another like dark navy blue. Must be these navy shades are like hard to make, because they all seem to take a bit of work to like build them up, but who knows. It could also be that my fingers have touched about 6,000 eyeshadows at this point today and it's not really picking things up properly. Anyway, I love this palette. It's a pretty cheap palette, which I think is cool, but the actual color story is quite nice. You have some beautiful grays here. I like that you kind of get these like dirty teal type shades. You have a really nice like almost matte black. These two shades I felt like were a little bit similar. The metallics I thought were pretty, but not like super vibrant special type flip type shades, but I do think they're pretty for what they are. I find myself putting something a little extra beyond this palette on my lids because I want like lots of sparkle, and these just definitely have like a solid metallic formula. So if you're okay with that, I think you would really like this one. And then this is my Nomad Lago de Como, and I'll always keep Nomad palettes because I love Nomad. I think it's such a cool brand. And this one, I think I've only ever used the blues in this palette because you guys know I don't care too much about neutrals. This minty shade is pretty, but I don't think I've dipped into these greens. The blues though, they really are beautiful in this palette. And because it's such a like kind of relatively small, easy palette, I just hang on to that. And then the last blue palette, or predominantly blue palette we'll talk about, is the Starry Night palette from Storybook Cosmetics, which looks like this. Oh, here's another one. This is 1853, although I think this one is a bit brighter. Yes, it is. So this is the Vincent van Gogh palette that they did, and I really like this one. This rustic shade is very beautiful. The mattes in here are a little bit finicky, but I do like the metallics, so I'll be keeping that. Plus this is like the sickest artwork, and I got it for I think half price, and then I ended up getting the free Mean Girls palette at the same time, so that was pretty cool. All right, let's talk about green stuff, and we're gonna talk first about the Trixie Cosmetics Plant Gay palette. This palette, I think this is like really cool, but I actually really like this packaging even more, which is why I keep it in the box. Otherwise I wouldn't, because I don't with any of my other palettes. This is the color story. Obviously the blue green row is what gets me the most. These two shades have like a biodegradable glitter in them, and I just don't love that. Like, it's kind of gritty. It almost feels like you're rubbing some kind of salt on your eyes. I don't like that at all. But these two metallics are just like regular metallics, so I like those a lot better. Overall, definitely will keep that one. But I think Plant Gay was like the last palette that I bought. I bought some of the Decades blush palettes, but the last eye palette that I bought before they started doing just all kinds of weird stuff. So that's Plant Gay. And then I have this Wilma Beauty palette, which definitely isn't like all green, but I always think about the green shades in here whenever I think about this palette, so I put it with my green stuff anyway. I like this palette. It's kind of similar to some other stuff that I have, so I'll have to think about, do I really want to keep all these palettes or can I let one go? Ooh, especially, this might be me swatching at this point because there's like so much crap on my fingers now. But yeah, and I like the packaging on this one a lot. That's probably half of why I still keep it. Sweet Shop Pistachio, absolutely going to keep this palette. I love these beautiful greens. This is the Disney Encanto palette, and I like this one because it has kind of these like grungy shades, but then it has really like poppy shades in it as well. I think it's a nice balance, and my kids love Encanto, so they think that's pretty cool that there's a palette. This Emeralds palette, I think I'm going to hang on to for a little while longer. This is one of the Profusion palettes that convinced me to try a bunch of other ones. So it's one of the like OGs that I'm really impressed by. So I would like to keep that one. And then I have the Glamlight Dirty Martini. What a gorgeous palette this one is. I love the mattes in here. The shimmers in here are quite nice. This like really olivey army green is probably one of my favorite metallics in the whole palette. But yeah, I'm going to hang on to that. I have Ace Beauté Tropical Vibes, which looks like this. And this one, even though it looks like I haven't touched it, is quite nice. I tend to stick to kind of these pukey chartreuse greens here in the center, and then these two shades as well. So some of these other shades have not yet been touched, but I do like the new formula for them. This is the Clarity Cobra palette, another banger. I like this one a lot. It looks very beat up, but I don't care because I just really like the colors in here. I think this is going to be darker than the navies that I've been looking at. Yeah, because this is more like almost a true black. Yeah, definitely darker, but still keeping. Then the Wilderness palette, this has really good memories for me. I took this with me when we went to the beach one year with my family, and I remember staying in the like condo that we were in and had the kids with us, and everybody got to interact with them and like build memories with them, so definitely will hang on to that. And then I think I just have these four. This Fresh Greens is like an underrated palette at Target. Like, this is a really, really nice palette. So if you want something that's definitely like those greens, but not like super bright, vibrant greens, I would consider checking this one out at Target. Then this is the W. Moreau palette from Glam Shop, and it looks like this. These are those really flaky, buttery metallics. I've used the mattes in here a couple times, and I think I've used this shimmer, but I don't think I've actually used these two on the lids just yet. But I'll definitely be keeping that. I like the Glam Shop formula, even though it's annoying to try to order from there. This is the Rogue palette, and this is from Fantasy Cosmetica, which is a video game based indie brand. But I do really like this palette. I'm pretty sure there's a lookup on my channel using this palette. Would highly recommend checking them out. And then this is the Sugar Drizzle palette, the Warrior palette. And I think this one is a really pretty palette too. Let me see. Oh, that's like even a multi-chrome though. How did I not know that was a multi-chrome? Wow. Okay. So this palette I definitely am going to hang on to. I really like the color story in here, and I like that there's just a couple of mattes, but like yellow, green, blue, purple, those are like my vibe. So I'll be hanging on to that. And in this particular section, I think I only got rid of 3 palettes again, but that's 3 palettes that are going to go to a good home. So I want to thank you guys so much for watching. Don't forget to like and subscribe before you go, and I'll catch you in my next one. Bye.